going on, chess lovers? This is Maurice Bishop Chess. So y'all know my slogan, life is a game of chess. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I got in the Army, and I'm also going to talk about my experience on my first day of basic training. All right. If you're watching the video for the first time, make sure you turn that notification bell on. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's actually get right to this story. All right, guys. So obviously, I was about maybe 19 or 20 years old, and this is back in November 2006. Now, many people join the Army because they want to go to college so that the Army could pay for their school. Other people want to join the Army because they want to serve their country. In my situation, guys, I was in South Philly, living in a bad neighborhood where there's a lot of 30, 40-year-olds who really didn't have a job. They didn't have no job, still living with their moms, no car, in and out of prison, and they're just really not doing anything with their life. I didn't want to end up like that, so I wanted to do something where I could have, security. I wanted income, and I just wanted something for me. I just wanted some type of meaning, in my life or whatever, because and technically I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my life. So I was like, man, I might as well just go in the military. So I decided to hit up the recruiter, pretty much said, sir, I want to join the military, what is the process to it? He pretty much said, we're gonna fill out some paperwork and all. I explain everything to you tomorrow morning when I pick you up, to take me to the recruitment station. I was like, all right, cool. And that was that. So the next morning, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Drove in front of my house, when he drove in front of my house, guys, I'm going to tell you this, man, his car, man, it was nice. It was like all black, he had the music on. I mean, he didn't have it blasting, but it was loud enough. But I mean, he had it on. I hopped into the car and everything. He shook my hand, introduced himself to me. I said who I was and all, and I'm telling you, when he had the music going, I could feel that bass, man, in the back of my seat, man. It was almost like a heartbeat, pressing my back seat. And it was nice, man. When he drove off, the ride was so smooth and everything. I felt like Ace in the Cleaner in that movie Paid in Full, where he was like, this joint like a spaceship. So yeah, man. So when I was laying back or whatever, just chilling, I was like a little bit nervous. He kind of looked at me because he had this shades on. He was a bald-headed guy, pretty tall, and he had a Sergeant First Class rank on as well. And he was clean, and I could see that nice Rolex watch that he had on as well. So he was like, yo, man, he was like, you like this ride? I was like, yeah. He was like, it's going smooth in. And I was like, yeah. He was like, you can get this one too. And I was like, man, it was crazy. I was like, oh, word. And it's almost like he was talking to me like Mitch, man. Like he was telling Ace, he was like, yo, you need to get this, B. You need to get this, And as I look back at it now, it's like he was really like selling me, man. Like he was like telling me, man, this is the best decision you're ever gonna make in your life, man. You got you can get bonus, you get promoted faster, you definitely gonna be successful, man. You're gonna have women all up on you and all that, And I was young and I was like, oh man, I love women and all. So I mean, like, what's up? Tell me more, he was telling me everything, if you work hard, you'll get your rank. I mean, like you travel. I mean, he was telling me a whole bunch of things, man. He was talking about how he had houses he owned. He was telling me, he had cars and all that. Like, I mean, like he taking care of his family. He's straight. When he retired, he ain't gotta work no more. Just living a dream. And he sold it to me pretty much all the way to that recruitment station. And as soon as we get to the recruitment station, you got Master Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, and some Sergeant First Class, all at a table doing some paperwork, but they all greeted me and all saying, yo, man, it's almost like they all said, like, yo, man, this is the best decision you ever gonna make. That dude right there, he a good dude, man. He gonna take care of you. You know what I mean? Just do what you need to do. I was like, all right, cool. So already, like, I was a little bit nervous. Now I'm not really so nervous now because I felt real confident, in them, because I felt like they're not gonna stir me wrong. They really want me in here, And back then, I didn't know that, recruiters at the time, they had a certain quota that they had to get a certain amount of new recruits, you know, in the recruitment station. They got to sign up, do basic training, do AIT, you know, and then, you know, they're good. You know, that's how they meet their quotas. So I didn't know that back then. So at this time, I was just looking at it like, yo, man, they just, you know, helping me. And you got some recruiters that do help, but this is my experience. Like I said, this is back in November 2006, right? So they asked me a couple of questions, if I ever got in trouble with the law, if I ever been locked up. Obviously, it was no. They was like, can you pass a drug test? In which I had to do a drug test. They asked me if I could do any physical fitness training, meaning how many push-ups I could do, how many sit-ups, how's my run time. Those asking me all these questions, filling out paperwork, making sure I ain't had no gang-related tattoos. I mean, they just pretty much asked me a whole bunch of stuff, right? And me filling out paperwork. Also, I had to take a pre-ASVAB test, just to see where I was at. I passed it. And then once I passed it, it was like, okay, so the next step is you need to study for the actual ASVAB test. At that time, I thought, oh, I passed it, I'm good, I'm ready to go. Because I was like really anxious, like, ready to go. But in this situation, it was like, no, man, that was just a pre-test. You need to actually take the actual ASVAB test, in which I had to take it up at Willow Grove, PA. And that's pretty much where you go to this building where you can't talk. You gotta put your phone somewhere else or whatever. Make sure you ain't cheating. And there's like a whole bunch of recruits trying to go into the military as well. All right. So I think about maybe two or 3 months, maybe, gave me some time to like really study for the ASVAB and everything. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I go up to Willow Grove, pass with the minimum and all. And I was good. So the next step is they had to schedule me to the MEPS. And for all I don't know what the MEPS is the Military Entrance Processing Station. And that's pretty much where they're going to ask you a lot of questions. Have you gotten in trouble with the law? Have you done anything illegal? Like, at the time they was asking us a whole bunch of questions, but it wasn't just that. We did the whole physical, you had to take shots, you had to, they was checking to make sure you ain't had no illegal tattoos, and they'll take pictures of you to make sure this is all you had, like you ain't had no other tattoos, that's also the place where, you also sign other documents and everything, that you have to fill out, your emergency contact, I think like DD-93s, it's a whole bunch of stuff you had to fill out. You also get orders, pretty much stating where you're going to do your basic training at, where you're going to do your advanced individual training, which is AIT, where you're going to do that. It's pretty much where you'll learn how to do, your job, pretty much, right? And then also, it's also the place where you actually say your oath. But before you say your oath, they actually let you know you can leave at any time. If you feel as though it's not something that you want to do, then you can leave right there. And obviously, nobody ain't leaving. They're like, man, we're gonna do this, we're all in, and that's pretty much what we did. So that's the whole process of it all, and then another thing is what else happened is, after you do all that, you get on a bus. I mean, they give you like a U.S. Army Reserve book bag, you get a U.S. Army Reserve t-shirt and all that. They give all that to you. And then once you do all that, you get on a bus, and then you go to a place where, they do like a holding center. When I mean holding center, it's pretty much a place where you got to do more in process, because they got to in process you into that building. And this is pretty much where, the MEPS was in New Jersey. From New Jersey, you go to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, but in there, you don't do basic training right away. You go through the processing center, and that one is like, you're there for a whole week. You got to sign out a blanket and a pillow and everything. And those blankets are like the old green, old veteran type of blankets and everything. And it has that U.S., I think I don't even say U.S. Army. It just says U.S. On a blanket and everything, but it's like the old kind ones. So you pretty much go over there, and they pretty much give you some BS and all that. I mean, they make you do push-ups. They give you a smart book. They tell you got to read this. So when you go to basic training, when they ask you questions, you better be able to answer the right questions. So pretty much the smart book contains, what is your general order, your Army regulations, pretty much being a soldier and what you need to do, all the stuff like your general questions of, you know, pretty much everything. Everything that you need to know is in that book, and you need to study it. And that's pretty much what it was. And then if a drill sergeant came up to you and asked you those questions and you didn't get it wrong, not only did you get smoked, and meaning getting smoked is pretty much, they pretty much drop you, you know, half right face, front leaning rest position, move, and then you start doing push-ups and everything. And they'll keep doing it until they tell you to stop, you know, or sometimes mountain climbers, which was another one, which is a dreadful exercise that everybody hate. You know, that, you know, we was getting smoked every single time because people just did, or either they knew it or they just forgot and it just wasn't good enough. The answer they gave wasn't good enough, and then they just smoke you. And that was just the processing, you know, that was just the process. That wasn't even basic training. That's just the processing part, you know what I mean? And we're getting smoked the whole time. All right. So after, and then also in the processing, you know, you also get issued your PT uniforms, you get issued your military uniforms, you know, you get all that as well. You know, before you put it on, you know, they actually measure you, make sure you're the right size. They give you boots, you know, they measure your feet size, make sure that is right. But I also heard other stories where it was times where they didn't measure your stuff. They just gave you the stuff and you just had to try it on and see if it fit. And if it fit, then you were good. You know what I mean? But in this case, we actually got measured our stuff, you know. So after we got all our bags and, you know, all our, you know, gear, you know, our uniform and our PT uniforms and everything, you know, we packed all that up. We had to go on a bus. And then this is where, you know, we enter into, you know, basic training. So remind you guys, in my mind, when I'm in my mind and everything, I'm like, okay, not a problem. Because I'm thinking maybe this is just the hard part. I mean, I was just in process. I mean, it was a lot of BS, you know, doing all that, but that's fine. I wasn't really too, I was still kind of nervous, but I wasn't like too nervous because I'm like, man, it can't be that bad. I mean, because the recruiters, I mean, they didn't steer me wrong. You know, I felt like, you know, I was in good hands. It's gonna be fine, right? So when we got on that bus and we you know, drove, just me and all the other privates as myself, you know, rode to the other place where we was gonna do or begin our basic training. Got on a bus. By that time, it's probably about maybe 10 or 11 o'clock at night. You know, it was definitely nighttime. And I remember it to this day or whatever. And I remember how the bus, you know, when he came to a complete stop, I look out the window and a lot of privates around, they was kind of like, you know, anticipating, they was kind of asleep. You know, some of them were just, you know, trying to see what was going on. Like, we didn't know what to expect, right? We're like deers lost in the park or whatever, right? We just see this drill sergeant, you know, running. He runs to the bus or whatever. The bus door opens, and all you hear is these heavy boots going up the steps. Boom, boom. And I'm gonna tell you this: if you was asleep or if you was like nodding out, I'm gonna tell you, the sound of this drill sergeant's voice or whatever, it woke you up instantly. Like, it woke you up in there. You could feel, I'm telling you, if his voice was a physical, I'm telling you, you can really feel his voice. It was so direct or whatever that you can feel it and everything. And he looked at us, and even though he was like looking straight at, it's like his eyes was on every single one of us, like it was face to face. And he said, when you see me with this hat and everybody else with this hat, you will address us as drill sergeant. All the response I want to hear from y'all is yes, drill sergeant, or no, drill sergeant. Are you tracking? And then we all said, yes, drill sergeant. And he said, at the sound of my command, I want y'all to move with a sense of urgency out of this bus and fall out with your first line supervisor. Move, 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 move. So we all heard, you know, we like getting our bags and everything, and we rushing out the bus, man. It's almost like it was a fire on a bus and everything. Everybody is like running out the bus. And as soon as we go out the bus, you know, everybody trying to look for their first line supervisor. Now, remind you, all the YouTube videos that y'all saw, you know, with soldiers falling out in a single file line and everything, and they're meeting their first line supervisor, that is not exactly how it went. When I was in, when they tell us to fall out with our first line supervisor, we didn't know who our first line supervisor was. It was nobody beating us there. It was drill sergeants everywhere. And privates are running around trying to figure out who to go to, and we got drill sergeant yelling at them, "Hey, you go there! No, you're wrong. Go over there. You go over there!" And it's like chaos, complete chaos. Privates everywhere. We had one female falling out on the ground, overhead crying and everything. You got 3 drill sergeants surrounding the female, saying, "Get up, get up! You in the army now? We got you now! Get up, get up!" And she just crying out, crying her ball, like just crying out and everything, like just head down or whatever, just shaking. She's scared and everything. We got other people getting smoked, doing push-ups because the other drills are telling them to drop and everything, you know, everywhere. And I'm over here running around like trying to see. I don't know, guys. Like I'm lost myself, and I'm over here trying to figure out where to go to. So I just followed one. I remember I followed one soldier because he was going like this and whatever, didn't know where to go. So he's like running. So I kind of followed him behind him and stuff. And the drill sergeant's like, "Hey, get over there, and everything." So they get over there, and we got these other soldiers who probably was already there, probably like 2 weeks prior, already there. And I guess they're like the KPs or whatever, or like the detail. I call them detail. That's pretty much what they call them, detail. And they had to serve the soldiers food and everything. And they like, "Hurry up, hurry up." The drill sergeant's like telling us, hurry up, get your food, get your food." So we got the plate and everything, and they just hurrying up, just stashing mashed potatoes, corn, and they had like some type of chicken, like flat out chicken, whatever. It just, I ain't gonna say it looked like jail food. I ain't never been to jail, so I don't know, but all I know, it ain't something that I'm used to. I'm gonna tell you that. So as soon as we got all that, you know, we actually had to get our food, and then you'll think that we would eat like with a bench or maybe a table or something. No, guys, we had the plate in our hands with a fork, and we had to get on our knees on the concrete, and we had to eat like that. And while we're eating, the drill sergeant's like, "Hurry up, eat the food, hurry up, hurry up." And we got the detail all like in front of the privates eating the food, and they're like, eat it, eat the food, hurry up." And the drill sergeant's like, "Hurry up, hurry up." So everybody is all around just stuffing the food in their mouth, hurrying up, trying to eat as fast as they can. And then the drill sergeant, I'm telling you guys, it was so quick. Even if it was so quick, it was like literally like maybe 20 seconds or whatever, maybe 20 to 30 seconds. And the drill sergeant was like, you're done, hurry up, throw it out, you're done." So we all hurrying up, we get up, take the plate of food, and we throw it in the trash and everything. And he's like, "Hurry up, form it up, hurry up." And we all form it up. And remind you, man, I got food so much in my mouth and everything. It's really hard for me to even like put it all like in my throat or whatever, you know, just eating the whole thing. And I'm trying as hard as I can and everything. I'm nervous. And in my mind, I'm like, man, what the heck did I get myself into? Like, what is this or whatever? Like they tricked me or whatever, you know? That's what I felt like. I felt tricked, guys. Like I felt like the recruiters tricked me. You know, it wasn't what they said it was gonna be. Like they really tricked me and all of that. I just felt like, man, they got me, man, they got me good or whatever. Like it was a trap or whatever. And as soon as I got formed up, I'm still chewing my food and everything. And I guess, guys, the drill sergeant, he saw me and he was like, "Hey, hey." And then I'm like, "What the heck, man?" So he comes close to me, face to face. And I mean, so close to me, it's almost like our nose could touch or whatever. And he looked dead in my eyes and said, "You better swallow that effing food." And guys, I don't know how I did. I don't know. To this day, I don't know how I even did it. I somehow took like maybe 2 or 3 chops of the food, and somehow I swallowed the food. I don't know how I did that. I swallowed it. And I thought I was gonna choke or whatever, but I didn't choke or whatever. I was still good. I didn't throw up or nothing. Somehow I swallowed that food, and then he walked off and everything. I was like, what the heck, man? And we had people, man, I'm telling you guys, we had really the females, it was females that were crying, man. They was crying, like they wanted to leave. This was like their first night, man, and we didn't even get through the whole basic training yet, man. And they like, man, it was something that was crying, man. It was like crazy, man. Once we got formed up, man, they took us up to the barracks or whatever. It's pretty much a bay door, or pretty much an open bay, where you got like bunk beds that's like 2 feet against each other. You got wall lockers and everything. And they tell you that, you know, you got to fold your clothes this way. You know, they got a diagram, a chart telling you exactly how to roll your socks, how to fold your clothes, how to hang this up. You know, everything has to be dressed right, dressed. And if it wasn't dressed right, dressed, when they come for inspection, they'll take all your stuff out and toss it out on the floor and stuff. And there's one incident, we had a soldier who because they always tell you gotta secure your wall locker. You know, you gotta lock it up. Well, this one particular day, he didn't have it locked up. Both drill sergeants took his wall locker and tossed it out the window. Remind you, a wall locker is pretty huge. It's not like you could just carry that thing one by itself. I mean, the wall lockers are heavy, they're metal. You know, they're just as tall as you, really taller or whatever. And it took two drill sergeants to carry those wall lockers and toss it out the window. And what did that private had to do? He had to take his battle buddy, him and his battle buddy had to go downstairs and carry that wall locker on both of them and carry it back up and then put it back. And then all the stuff that was on the floor, the battle buddy had to help him put everything back into the wall locker so that everything could be just right dressed. we get smoked in there too, guys, and it's like late, we're tired, you know, and we're still getting smoked. We're doing push-ups, we're doing jumping jacks, flutter kicks. Flutter kicks is crazy. You know, the mountain climbers, as I told y'all before, is pretty much ridiculous, man. It's like we dread that exercise. It's just crazy, man. Oh man, it's so much stuff in that basic training, man. It's just a lot of things, man. Things that we just couldn't do. The phone calls or whatever, you know, it was very limited. Like we couldn't use the phone like that. Even like all your belongings, like all electronic, it wasn't electronics. It wasn't like if you had a cell phone, you could use it. No, they take all your civilian stuff, all your electronic, you know, all your civilian codes and everything. They take all of that, all your bags, and they lock it up and you can't get into it, you know, none at all. So everything is locked up. Using the bathrooms and everything is open showers. You don't have no shower curtains. You don't have no dividers and everything. When you're in that shower, you're seeing pretty much everybody. Yeah, like you pretty much see everybody. And then they pretty much tell you to get up when you need to get up. Sometimes they'll come in at 3 in the morning, sometimes 4 in the morning, and you got to get up and you got to get ready to do PT. You know, there's times that you're doing it in the cold, sometimes you're doing it in the rain, you know, even when it's hot, you know, it's hot. But in this case, I went in November, so you could just imagine it was freezing cold. And there are times where we had to be in our PT shorts, like in short, like summer PT. We call summer PT because you have to wear the short sleeve shirt and your obviously your short. Your winter PTs you didn't like you usually do wear it when it's cold, but there's times where they want to be like, no, we'll switch it up. We're gonna wear summer PT, and you'll be out there freezing cold. Very uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, there are times where I wanted to go home. I just wanted to just be like, man, forget this, man. I'm done, you know, getting yelled at all the time and everything. And, you know, constantly getting hit with the push-ups and, you know, even in the DFAC or whatever, they always had like desserts out there, you know, cheesecake, sweet potato pies, ice creams or whatever. And you always had soldiers that tried to take some of the desserts and mix it in with their main food that they're eating, but they always get caught. And then when one get caught, we all get caught, pretty much. So if one fell, we all fell. So yeah, every time we'll be getting mad at all the other soldiers and everything, and you know they be wanting to fight. Which that does happen. You know, we got thieves in basic training. You know, we had that. We had people that want to fight. You know, all the time. So we had that in basic training. So it's I'm saying when I was in it was pretty rough when I was in basic training, you know, it was pretty rough. Like I said, it was back in 06. So and then the drill sergeants that we had, you know, all of them were in combat. A lot of them were 11 Bravos, you know, they've been in war, you know, they had situations in Iraq that, you know, that messed them up mentally and all that. So we had a lot of those. So they was really like, you know, trying to motivate us and teach us and everything, but man, they yelled at us a lot because we did a lot of stupid stuff too, you know what I mean? But the whole experience of basic training, I would say this, I don't regret going to basic training. I don't regret going in the military. You know, it was definitely a great experience. Obviously, guys, I've been in for 13 years. You know, I don't regret none of my years of serving. You know, it is really an honor to serve in the military. For anybody that's trying to go in the military, you know, I highly suggest, you know, that's something that you want to do. You know, definitely go out with a plan. You know, definitely, like I said, basic training is just a mental, is really a mental game. you know, they really yell at you or really try to put so much stress on you so that they can pretty much they do that so that you could be prepared in the future, so that you could be able to handle pressures in the future. You know, and that's the whole point of the whole chaotic and, you know, the stress level that they put on you, getting up, you know, early in the morning, even staying up late at night, you know, like really, really late at night, where they put so much stress on your body, you know, even when you're tired, you know, they was pushing us to, you know, to overcome, pushing us to still be motivated, even when it's hard, you know, and that's something that, you know, that I'm glad I still joined, because even with the stress in life or whatever, it doesn't really bother me because I feel as though, you know, I'm strong and I feel like, you know, I can maintain. Some people can't handle the stress. Some people can't handle, you know, the everyday, you know, life or whatever. But the military does teach you, you know, to be motivated, you know, to be inspired, you know, check with your battle buddy, you know, at all time, you know, always ask for help, you know, never try to do stuff by yourself, you know. So, and that's pretty much this whole story, everything that I'm telling y'all, you know, like I said, it's always a life lesson inside of everything that I'm telling y'all, you know, in spite of my recruiter, you know, telling me something else, you know, I will tell you this, there are going to be times where you see somebody that's very successful, they're you know, they got it good, and it almost seemed like they got their life made out and it was easy for them, but a lot of people don't know their story. You know, you don't know what it took for them to get where they needed to be. You don't know the struggle. You don't know the pain. You don't know how early they had to get up, how late they had to stay up to do what they need to do. You know, especially at times where they can't go to sleep till the mission is done. You know, it took a lot for them to get where they needed to be. You know what I mean? So you never know where they come from. You never know exactly what it took for them to get that. And it's the same thing with all of us, you know, that may be successful. You don't know what it took for us to even get to the place where we needed to be. You know what I mean? So, and I do want to say is anything that you want in life, you know, if you want to be successful, you want to do that, it's going to take work. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take, you know, you might be crying, you may be in some pain, you may feel like now I want to do this no more, but now you got to motivate yourself to stay up and have that willpower, have a desire to overcome and to stand strong, you know, and have that warrior mindset that you would not fail. You know what I mean? So, and that's pretty much how that is, guys. Again, guys, I have so much stories to tell you, even with basic training and just military in general. I have a lot to say, but I don't want to go overboard with it because, man, I'm telling you, it's like, yeah, man, it'll be long hours, man, for real. So, again, guys, I hope you enjoy everything that I told y'all. You know, the story that I told y'all. If you like the video, make sure you like, share, comment. Let me know what you think, guys. And also, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And also, before I go, if anybody else that have questions about the military or just need some information about the military, definitely drop that comment below. And I'll be more than happy to answer every single one of y'all questions. All right. I've been in for 13 years, guys. So, and I'm still in the military to this day, guys. So it's not like I'm not, I still know this stuff, all right? So again, just drop a comment below, and if y'all comment, I'll definitely hit y'all up as soon as possible. All right, peace.